that I made a mistake, you know.
Oh, there's my sound. Shout out to y'all. Man, I just rapped my whole little verse from. I might as well rap it again. I don't even remember it. What is it? H to the Izzo, P to the Jizay. For shizzle, my nizzle used to dribble down the VA, serving them in the home of the Turpins. Plus, I was giving it to them for dirt cheap. And if they were short, then I would work with them. Okay, that's what I said. But shout out to everybody who follow me on Twitch and everybody who follow me on Facebook and on YouTube. Cause we lit up in this thing. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe to this video. And we late, dog. Listen, shit. Well, listen. We finna get messy, okay? Cause some people been dying, frying, and laying to the side, okay? So without further ado, let's get into one of the messiest stories for the night. I'm gonna try to do 3 of them. If I get tired, yeah, I'm only do 2.
Imagine a man who married his own stepmother and behind closed doors spent more than a decade preying on children in his own family. This isn't a Netflix documentary. This is a real case. His name was Bostian Johnson, and it happened right here in Oakland. Now, according to the court records and trial reporting, Johnson's crimes began after he moved in with his biological father as a teenager. Not long after, he started a sexual relationship with his father's wife, his own stepmother. Years later, after his father left and divorced his wife, Johnson and the stepmother got married. And that's when the abuse escalated. For more than 12 years, Johnson groomed and molested children in his own family, his half-brother, stepsister, and a few cousins. Prosecutors described him as a predator who did evil things and a sick individual that preyed on vulnerable children. The allegations came to light after the children's mother, Robin Johnson, was struck and killed by a CHP motorcycle in 2012. That loss shook the family apart, but it also exposed years of hidden abuse. In 2018, his first trial ended in a mistrial. But in 2019, after retrial, Johnson was convicted for his crimes. When people read about cases like this, they see headlines. They see words like predator, mistrial, convicted. But what you don't see is the real cost. You don't see the little girl who had her childhood stolen. You don't see the half-brother, the cousins, trying to survive in silence. And here's the truth. I was Jane Doe in that case. I'm not telling someone else's story. I lived it. I was one of those children. And that's why I'm speaking up. Because predators don't just look evil. They groom. They manipulate. They blend in. Imagine a man who married his own. I was molested as a child for more than a decade, and my mother knew. Let's talk about when mothers betray their daughters. What people don't talk about enough is this. Sometimes the most dangerous betrayal isn't from the man who abused you. It's from your mother, who knew and did nothing. And that silence, that's a different kind of abuse. When a man abuses a child, it's a crime. But when a mother knows and chooses to stay quiet, it's a second wound. It teaches the daughter that her pain is less important than a man's presence. That survival in the family means sacrificing your own body. And the damage from that betrayal, it cuts deeper than the abuse itself. Some mothers even twist it into a competition. Instead of seeing their daughters as a victim, they see her as a rival. And suddenly, the daughter isn't a child anymore. She's treated as the other woman in her own mother's home. That jealousy is poison. It creates this weird dynamic where the mother protects the abuser because she would rather keep her man and protect her child. And in doing that, she hands her daughter over like a mistress instead of shielding her like a mother. We need to name it. Mothers who know and allow abuse are predators too. Maybe not with their hands, but with their silence, with their choice to look away, with their willingness to sacrifice their daughter's safety for their own comfort, for their own control, for their own need to keep a relationship. That's not motherhood. That's complicity. That's predatory. And the dangers of this double abuse is lifelong. It creates deep shame because the person who should have protected you was against you. Warps trust. You grow up never fully believing that anyone will stand by you. It can create confusion in relationships because love and betrayal got tied together at a young age. Survivors carry both traumas, the violation of their body and the abandonment of their mother. That combination can feel impossible to heal from, but naming it is the first step. If this is your story, hear me. You were not the mistress. You were not competition. You were a child who deserved protection. If your mother chose silence, silence is abuse too. You are not to blame and you are not alone. When I was a child, I was molested for more than a decade. Let's talk about what grooming looks like. Grooming is when someone builds trust and slowly pushes the boundaries until the child feels trapped. Here's what it looks like. They give the child special attention, gifts, money, treats. They create secrets. Don't tell your mom. Keep this between us. They start with small touches. A hug that lingers too long, brushing hair, tickling, and then they push further. They try to isolate the child from friends and family. They often use manipulation, making the child feel guilty, responsible, or even like they're in a relationship. This is how predators normalize abuse without anyone noticing. Let's talk about the warning signs in a child. If you're a parent, a teacher, or even a friend, pay attention. These are some red flags. A child suddenly becomes fearful or withdrawn. Grades drop or they stop wanting to go to school altogether. They avoid certain people or get anxious about being left alone with a certain person. And sometimes they may have knowledge of sexual behavior that is far beyond their age. Unexplained gifts, money, random new items that just show up. Kids can also say they got that new item from a friend. And physical signs can be people sitting or walking, or unexplained injuries can also be clues. Kids don't always say what's happening. Their behavior, if watched closely, often tells the story. Let's talk about schools and advocates. Teachers see kids 5 days a week, and depending on the teacher, they always notice when something is a little off, but they aren't always trained, or they're afraid to overstep. Imagine if every school had an independent child advocate, someone kids can go to directly without fear, someone whose job it is to listen, notice the signs, and act. That alone could save lives. Abuse thrives in silence, and grooming thrives when adults look the other way. So if you're hearing this, take it as a sign. Pay attention. Believe kids. Ask questions. Push for advocates in school. Because protecting children starts with us refusing to be silent. What's more dangerous than a man that preys on a woman? Sometimes it's a woman who raises you to believe his love matters more than your life. I'm talking about male-centered mothers. Pick-me mothers, the ones who worship their sons and their man, but raise their daughters like competition. These mothers build their entire identity around being chosen by a man. Their self-worth is tied to whether a man loves them, wants them, or stays with them. And they pass that sickness down. They pour unconditional love into their sons, teaching them they're kings no matter how they act. But their daughters have to earn scraps. Every compliment feels like a competition. Every mistake feels like proof you're not enough. Daughters of the pick-me mother grow up being compared to the mother when she was younger, to the men the mother wants to keep around, to the sons who can do no wrong. She'll call you fast. She'll shame you for your body. She'll accuse you of trying to take her man. And not because you did anything, but because in her eyes, you're competition, not her child. And that kind of jealousy is a form of abuse. It makes daughters feel like intruders in their own home, like they're never safe, even with their own mother. And the dangers of being raised like this runs deep. You grow up believing that women are rivals, not allies. You normalize men being prioritized over your safety. You often shrink yourself to avoid triggering her jealousy. You internalize the idea that your voice, your body, your needs are the problem. And here's the truth. Male-centered mothers don't protect their daughters. They protect men. They protect their sons. They protect their image. But rarely do they protect their girls. I had to break the cycle. My mom died when I was 19. I got to raise myself with the love she couldn't give. I got to choose women as allies, not enemies. Male-centered mothers may have raised us. They will not define us because we are not pick-me's. We are not rivals, and we are not threats. We are daughters, we are women, and we are worthy. When I was a child, I was molested for more than a decade. Let's talk about how to be an advocate for children. You've heard the stories, you've seen the signs, but the question is, what do you do if you suspect a child is being abused? Because silence isn't an option, and hesitation can cost a child their safety. Let's talk about the first steps if you suspect abuse. If you see warning signs or a child discloses something to you, stay calm. Your reaction matters. Kids often test adults with small disclosures first. Believe them. Most kids don't lie about abuse. So if they said it, take it seriously. Don't promise secrecy. Instead say, thank you for telling me. I'm going to help keep you safe. Report it. Call Child Protective Service, local police, or your school's mandated reporting line. You don't have to have proof, just suspicion. Let's talk about how you can be an advocate every day. Being an advocate isn't just about reporting abuse. It's about building a culture where kids feel safe to speak. That means listening when kids talk, even if it seems small. Questioning unusual situations, like why a child suddenly has an expensive gift or is always alone with one adult. You can also become an advocate by supporting schools. All schools should have trained child advocates or counselors. And before you guys say, well, we already have counselors in school, because I went to Oakland Tech and nobody noticed. Even when I wrote a suicide note to all my peers, the school never noticed. And the school didn't even seem to care why my mom was never present, never answered the phone, and didn't care about anything except for whatever happens in this house stays in this house. And this is why we should push for education. Every teacher, every bus driver, every coach, every counselor, they know the signs too. This is how you can support survivors. For most survivors, the journey doesn't end when the abuse stops. It's a lifetime of healing. But you can help by believing them without judgment, avoiding pressure to just move on. Connecting them with resources can help as well. And most importantly, reminding them what happened was not your fault. When people say a child was flirting with an adult that groomed them, that is victim blaming. And it's extremely dangerous. Let's be clear. A child cannot flirt with an adult. Children do not have the mental, emotional, or legal capacity to consent. They are still developing, and part of that development is learning boundaries. Adults, on the other hand, hold all the power and all the responsibility. When an adult chooses to cross that line, that's not mutual. That's predatory. That's grooming. And when you shift the blame onto a child, you're not only excusing the abuser's actions, you're also participating in a culture that protects predators. Here's the reality. If you believe a child can flirt with a grown adult, you're exposing predator thinking yourself. Because the only way you can see a child that way is if you already view children as sexual beings, which is exactly how abusers think. Victim blaming doesn't just hurt the child that was abused, it silences other victims. It discourages them from coming forward. And it allows predators to keep abusing without accountability. If we're serious about protecting kids, language like this has to change. And the accountability has to stay.
I ain't gonna lie. When I see something like this, I think it's wild too because, bro, have you ever seen a little kid flirt? Like, that's the weirdest shit. Kids just be nice doing their own things. You nasty niggas be like, oh, she tried to touch my dick. No, the fuck she didn't, weirdo. So you want to stick it in that? I don't know. I don't know where these. I do know people that been abused and where they get to, and then they turn around and be abusers. I do know that much. So it'd be a long line of abusers that continue to abuse kids and do weird shit like this.
Let me make this clear. Children cannot consent. And if When I was a child, I was molested for more than a decade. Let's talk about my high school experience. It was already hard being abused at home. But imagine your only safe place is school. And even there, you're still getting bullied. My stepdad was SAing me. My mom was tearing me down mentally and physically. After 5th grade, she stopped doing my hair and stopped buying me clothes. And for back to school, she would give me $50 to go to Goodwill or Salvation Army. So you know what that meant. I was always walking into class in beat up shoes, dusty hand-me-downs, while everyone else was fresh for the first week of school. And kids are kids. They laugh, called me bald-headed, and clowned me because my clothes weren't name brand. And what was embarrassing, I was actively stealing clothes out of the lost and found, praying that the person who lost it didn't find it on me. So parents, teach and talk to your kids. If you see someone struggling, don't laugh at them. Don't join in on the jokes because you don't know what's going on at home. And some of us are just trying to survive. And teachers, staff, admin, you've got to notice too. Kids don't always say I'm being abused, but you'll see it. You'll see it in their grades. You'll see it in their silence. My senior year of high school, I said, enough is enough. And my mom and stepdad kicked me out of the house at 3 a.m. I walked to school because that was the only safe place I knew to go. And I was homeless at school for 2 weeks. I slept at school. I wore the same clothes every day. And nobody noticed. Except one person. She was the vice principal at Oakland Tech, Miss Morrison. She looked at me one day and said, something's not right. She didn't know the details, but she cared enough to see me. She actually allowed me to come to her apartment where she was moving out of. She had already had everything out of the house. And all she really wanted me to do was pull things out of the wall like stickers, tacks, then clean the stove and the counters. I think I also did the refrigerator. She paid me very nicely. With that money, I was able to pay for my senior prom. The friends I had my senior year of high school was sent by God himself. I had 2 friends in particular, Kiera and Ronnie. Kiera's mom actually let me move in with her, and I lived with them for the rest of my senior year. So parents, talk to your kids. Teachers, get trained. And students, be kind, because you don't know whose life depends on it. And sometimes the cruel joke you laugh at is the very thing that keeps kids from asking for help. When I was a child, I was...
These kids ain't even bullies no more. These kids are wimps. I'm gonna be honest. They wouldn't have lasted 1 week in my school.
Sweet.
No, they wouldn't. But anyway, they wouldn't have lasted a week. But, you know, I guess you do gotta watch out for it. I don't gotta watch out for it. But if I see like one of my daughter's kids, friends, coming over often, I'm like, where the hell your parents at? Why they ain't? I do be, it's only, well, I've never had to run into a kid from my daughter's friends, but my stepsons, when they friends back in the day, one of their friends, yeah, I know he used to get abused at home. He used to come over with black eyes like, hey, how that happened? Me and my brothers were fighting. You got little brothers. Your daddy punched you in your eye. But, you know, couldn't really do nothing. But, call CPS. Anonymous. But anyway, let's get to this next video.
Excuse me? Relax me. What do you mean? You told me to relax myself, so you do it. Relax me. Excuse me? Relax me. What do you mean? You told me to relax myself, so you do it. Man, Pluto been like, what the fuck? Yo, y'all are really deep in that. Yo, y'all are deep in them comments. Like, bro, let me get my damn glasses. So, I'm gonna post the rest of the video, but from the time where I said relax me, there wasn't nothing before, so I have to explain what happened before and then the video after. But you wasn't about to get me, girl. And by the girl, I mean the lady, the Karen. So basically, long story short, I was there for the Owala pop-up, and as you guys seen already, there was people in front of me. Obviously, it's a damn line, like what the hell? So as I was walking down, I was trying to join the line, and the Karen was by the sidewalk. So for reference, here's me and my Squishmallows Live bunch. The line is where I am, the sidewalk is where the black is, and she's on the other side of the sidewalk. So by this time, 2 other people have joined the line while she's trying to tell her son to get on the line. So now I'm walking down, I join the line because it looked like you don't know what you want, and I want that damn bottle. A single mom who works 2 jobs, I work and I go to school. A free bottle, I need that, I want that, gotta have that. So now, she is telling her son to go 2 people in front of me, right? Because she was around the area by the time the line started. and she now wants to join, but since she's around the area of the back of the line, her son should go in 3 people in front. I hope that makes sense. Again, just to reiterate, she's telling her son, hey, because we were around the line like 3 people ago, go 3 people in front, because that's where you should be if we would have joined the line at that time. Girl, who was allowing that? So the one girl that y'all keep screenshotting was like, she opened my phone, she was like, you can go behind me. Now the girl in front of me said, you need to go to the back of the line, I don't care. To the boy looked like he is no older than a 2nd grader. So what is that, about 6, 7? Oh fuck, please don't turn that to edit. Okay, let's just go with 7 years old, because I already know what y'all gonna say in the comments. Yesterday was the first day of school. Why is he not in it? First day of public. Charter been started. Private been started. He needs to be in a escuela. It was 2 o'clock. Last time I checked, school ends at 2:30. So ain't no reason why your kid was even around here. Keep that in mind. She's also a tarot card reader, because she had this big flyer advertising her business. I should have sit there and took a picture of that hell. But also keep that in mind. So now she's trying to justify this whole line situation. But by the time she's going back and forth and he could have just joined the back of the line, another person joins. Now, me and that lady, we was chopping up the whole time. Girl, I hope you good. I'm not going to expose all your business. But, you know, I had to make sure I stand up for my sister. So I turned around. I was like, hey, good afternoon. How are you? She's like, I'm good. You know, and how about you? I was like, I'm well. Just so you know, you're behind me, okay? Now the lady want to get into an uproar. Talk about, wow. Wow, what? Like, I'm confused. Like, what? I can't talk to somebody that's behind me as they rightfully show in the lane? Like, I'm confused. So she's like, y'all gonna do that to a kid? Y'all gonna do that to a baby? Y'all gonna do that to a baby? If the baby with the grandma and the grandmama and the mama the baby. Because where's the baby? Last time I checked, that is well over a toddler. Like, huh? So now, after all of that, the lady behind me asked me a question. Now, this is how everything started, but you chose the right one because my mouth too slick. So now, the lady behind me is like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? Like, why is she going off like that? So I'm explaining what happened. She gonna sit there and tell me, indirectly, but out loud, I don't understand why she's talking about me in front of me. Huh? Oh, you got it today. Because I was already not feeling good with these damn cramps. So now, after that happened, I said, excuse me? Because we about to do excuse me wars all day. Like, what? One thing about me, I love cursing people out professionally and unprofessionally, but I'm going to use the professional voice with you. Because, what? I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. They kill Biggie. Like, it's about to get real treacherous. So after that, she's like, yeah, I don't know why you're talking about me. I said, so how about you ask the lady who asked a question about you to me why she brought you up? Because I didn't bring you up initially. I never brought you up, actually. Again, it was a person behind you. You should confront the person who actively wants to have a conversation about you in front of you instead of the person just simply answering the question. Because she's asking about the situation, not you. Oh, I had her gagged. Mouth, huh. So then it was like, oh, relax. You guys just want to sit there and argue with a baby. Basically talk about the thing from earlier when the lady told the boy to get to the back of the line instead of letting him go through. So I was like, relax. I am relaxed. Like, what are you talking about? But now I'm looking around. To the left of me, to the right of me, I said, oh, let me get my motherfucking phone. Because what you're not going to do is be the aggressor, especially where the area was, because we was at World Trade Center, you know, there's plenty of cops. You could easily pull them aside. So I'm like, let me get my damn phone. So after I got my phone, she's still going. So I said, relax me. So she was utterly confused because she was expecting that. You thought I was just going to shut up. I was not going to shut up. Like, huh? So I said, come relax me. Like, what? Now, there is an after part of the video, but it's just me explaining to the lady about the situation. I was like, I don't know, again, how I was giving baby or arguing with a baby when it's giving a 2-year-old. But I can post that if y'all want it. But that's basically what happened. Her mouth was shut for the rest of the time. Oh, and then afterwards, she tried to put some hex on me. Like, what? She legit sat there and said something. And she was a tarot card reader. And it sounded like some type of spiritual something. Jesus, government, under the blood. Girl, whatever you try to put on me is gonna come right back to you, because God don't play about his. So I guess, like, what? I walk out the house and say my angel of God. Like, are you crazy? Angel of God, my God, in there to whom God's love, but trust me here. Ever since they be at my side to light and God, a rule of God, amen. Like, what? Don't play demons. But yeah, y'all, that's what happened. If y'all want the actual video of me like explaining it to the lady, sure, but I basically explained it in this video, and it is long, so 2 times it. And yeah, support me, follow me, y'all. Like, I ain't no. I'm a mom. Last. Oh, you swag. Oh, you swag.
Slacking on the video.
Lastly, y'all, I'm not Jamaican. I'm Trini. Trini to the board. Mega to the board. Okay, I'm Trini.
Shout out to all my Trinis. Where my Trinis at?
I'm a mommy.
Mommy?
I'm a mom.
Mamacita.
No, I'm a...
Bruh, they did all this for water bottles? They about to fight in a line in front of the World Trade Center over water bottles? What the hell? Is she for real? They stood in line for a free water bottle? I'm thinking it's some Pokemon or something. Maybe, you know, Taylor Swift tickets or something. Maybe Beyonce's coming to Brooklyn. This motherfucker got a water bottle.
My mommy. Ain't nobody told you to sit through nothing. Because if you read the comments, you would have understood what I said. And clearly you didn't. Man, Pluto, be like, right. What the...
Hey, shout out to all the Karens out there, man. I ain't ran into a Karen. All right, if y'all, I don't think that video is still on, I don't think the video is still on, my YouTube, but I ran into a black Karen at the dispensary, and she thought I was following her, and I'm not even from that side of town, so I said, ma'am, I'm not following you. I have no idea who you are, but whatever. And she was like, that's why black women don't like y'all. I said, what? Mind you, she's a darker brown black woman, or darker than me, and she had a blonde wig on, and I'm like, oh, this bitch is nuts. Oh, I ain't supposed to say the B word no more. This miscreant is nuts, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. I just started ignoring her, because then she started calling me R. Kelly and all some other stuff, and I was like, I said, bro, if she walk up, I told the dude, I said, if she walk up on me, I'll be forced to defend myself, because I don't know. I'm thinking maybe she just hot or whatever. I'm trying to get hot. I'm definitely not trying to do this. But yeah, that video, I might show y'all that video. It's a lot of cussing in it, though. It's a lot of cussing in it. That's why I took it down, because it was just like, when I started going off on her, I ain't shut up, because at that point, by the time I started recording, she had me flustered, and I was just like, that's when this is before I was using miscreants, and I was still using a B word, because y'all ladies ain't B words. But anyway, be careful when you messing with Karens, especially ones that got tarot cards. All right, so let's watch this story. Y'all tell me if this is a true story or not, but we're going to get into it. We're going to try to figure it out.
This is my story, so please listen. So the unaliving happened in my dreams. If you know me, you know that 37 years ago this month, my dad murdered my mom, her friend, and committed suicide. And for the longest time in my dreams, he would come back and he would haunt me. And I was always afraid, but he always ended up re-murdering my mom or murdering me and my brother and everyone around us. And last night, that dream was so real and so vivid. And as he started trying to slice my mom, I sliced him. And as he literally tried to cut my brother's bowels from his stomach, I was able to thwart the attack, and I ended up killing him. And so that monster who has been chasing my nightmares for 3, almost 4 decades is no longer, because last night I won. I murdered my father last night.
The police have literally been sent to my home today, and did a search of my home to make sure I had not truly unalived my father. If you would have continued on, or even looked at my page, you would see that I am a storyteller, that I express things that have happened in my life. First off, let me say that my dad has been dead for 37 years as of September 16th. I have never harmed another human in my life to the point of death. That is not something I would do. I have children and grandchildren. I speak out against domestic violence.
But she fucked
and
somebody
I
up
will say
before.
that my father is no longer able to haunt me in my dreams because I took my power back. Please stop. Y'all ain't gonna learn nothing because I don't even know what clickbaiting is.
This is my story. This is a dream. This is a dream. And it is my story. Please listen. I unalived my dad last night. It took me 37 years to pay him back for all the crimes that he had committed against my mom, my brother, myself, and every other person that he hurt in this world. And I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel sad. I feel like I took back a lot of my power. I feel like I did a justice for this world. I feel like I wish I could have done it a lot sooner. Am I afraid about the repercussions? Not at all. Because he was attacking, and I ended up getting the best of him. And he still attacked, and he still tried to destroy. But this time he didn't win. So I unalived my father last night.
This app gets crazier and crazier by the day. You can't make this shit up.
The way you have made me hollered. You told my story better than I told my story. And I swear it was a dream. I did not.
This app gets crazier and crazier by the day. You can't make this shit up. I'm horrified. I'm terrified. And I don't know what to do. Have y'all seen the latest video of the lady that looks you dead in the face and says, I unalived my father last night while she's laying in bed? She said, no, I'm not scared of the repercussions or the consequences of my actions. I feel safer. She said years ago, her father unalived her mother and her friend, and that's why she did it. She said she was protecting all of us. And then she done a follow-up and told us that she did it in her dream. She unalived her father in her dream. What the hell?
This is my story. I unalived my dad last night.
Last week, not too far from where I live, this 42-year-old black woman pulled up to her daddy's house with that thing on her. She told him, you don't stop messing with me. He said, leave me alone. Turned around. She took that thing out of her little waistband, hit him in the back, came on top of him, emptied the clip inside of this man, make sure he ain't never saw another day again. He's a 75-year-old black man. This is according to police record. You got to take it with a grain of salt. But the moment I heard that she...
This is my story, so please listen.
So people just be making up shit on
Some
TikTok?
grace, as I said, going back through these stories takes a lot out of me, but I don't know how they disappeared from my story. So they're going to be a little bit out of order, because what I'm going to tell you first is that on September 16th, 1988, at 6:21 p.m., my father unalived my mother, her supposed boyfriend, and then committed suicide at the Riverdale exit in Atlanta, Georgia. That was the day that we were leaving. We were finally leaving. My parents had been married for 16 tumultuous years. My father was an alcoholic. He was abusive. He was a philanderer. My mom was also a cheater. So me telling this story is not to paint either one of them in a better picture. It's just to tell you what my story is. On that day, the day before, my dad had severely beat me because he thought I'd skip school. I was having terrible, terrible cramps, and my mom said, I want you to go to the neighbor's house. I don't want you to stay home because your dad has been acting really weird. And he had been. And as this story goes on, I'll tell you more about that. I went to the neighbor's house. She gave me 2 Tylenol. I overslept. My dad came to the neighbor's house looking for me because he knew I hung out with her daughters. He saw me as I was trying to leave the apartment, and my daddy beat me with his leather belt. And each time he hit me, he cut my skin. And I was in excruciating pain. And my brother, who knew not to say anything to my dad, we were very well aware of the things that my dad could do to us. My brother stood up for me, and he grabbed my dad's hand and he said, don't you hit my sister again. Don't you hit her one more time. And my daddy started laughing, and he said, you little inner, if you ever touch me again, that'll be the day that you die. And we both knew that my dad was serious, because you got to understand, from the time that I was 2 or 3 years old, my dad had tried to unalive his family on more than one occasion. And he always told us that we belonged to him, and that if we were going with him. So that day, my mom told us to get up and get on the bus, pretend like we were going to school, but to get on the MARTA bus and come to her job, because behind my dad's back, she had already secretly secured a new apartment, and that was the last day. She was still trying to get things in place, but when my dad's anger turned towards me, she wasn't taking it anymore, and she said to him these words, for 16 years, I have allowed you to torture me. I have allowed you to rape me. I have allowed you to beat me, but not my children. You won't do that to my children. So the next morning, as instructed, I got up. I went to my mama's job. My best friend and her sister came. My brother and my cousin were supposed to go back to the apartment because Daddy had a doctor's appointment, and I'll explain that doctor's appointment later, to get whatever clothes they could and to get away from there. What my dad had done was taken his car and parked it around the corner, so they didn't know he was in the house, but he was. My daddy told my brother, in no uncertain terms, take me to where your mom is, or I'm gonna find her and kill her and murder your sister and murder you. My brother was 15. He had been living under my dad's thumb his entire life, so he brought him to the new place. And when I saw my dad's car pull up, I locked the doors and I got really quiet because I knew my dad should not know where we were now living. But then I heard my brother's voice, and he told me to open the door, and I opened the door, and I was trying to close it really fast, and I said, Daddy's car is outside. You got to close the door. And my daddy pushed through, and he came in. He said, oh, this bitch has really got a different apartment. Oh, so this is what she's been doing behind my back. Oh, she's really trying to leave me. As if he didn't know the explosion of their marriage was over. But he walked through the apartment, and he found an item that belonged to what I can only assume now was my mom's boyfriend. And he went ballistic. He went ballistic, and he started throwing stuff, and he started cursing, and he called me to the room, but I was scared because, like, I knew the wrath of my daddy. And remember, I still have open sores on my leg from him beating me the day before, so I wasn't too amped to go see. So I begged my cousin's girlfriend who was there to please go with me, and she wouldn't. And when I went in the room, my daddy asked me, so this is the inner she's seeing? And I said, I don't know. He's like, don't lie to me. Is this the man that your mama's seeing? And I said, I don't know. I've only met him once. And I was telling the truth. That was my first time actually meeting him. Now, when my dad had tried to unalive my mama several days before, my mom had asked me to call him on the phone and tell him what had happened. And he begged my mom to leave that day, but she said, no, I gotta wait a few more days to get this apartment. So my dad grabbed his camera and he said, if he ever wants to see this camera again, he needs to come find me. And my dad left, and so we thought he was gone. But unfortunately, he still knew where we lived. But my brother and I were waiting for my mom to come back because she had gone to get us a television. We were waiting for her to come back. And my dad came back to the apartment. Now, in the meantime, I went across the hall to the neighbor's house. This is my first time at this location. I did not know the address. I did not know the phone number I was calling from. I sounded like a little girl at that time, and they thought I was playing on the phone. I wasn't. I was calling for help, but I couldn't tell them where I needed the help. So the operator hung up on me a couple of times, thinking that I was playing on the phone. So my dad came back. He came inside the house, and he said, when they get back, y'all better not say a damn word. You better not open the door. You better not say a word. And so I'm sitting there crying. My cousin's girlfriend is crying, and my brother is sitting there, and you can tell he's just a ball of anger. My dad had so much adrenaline in him that when my mom and her friend showed up, he couldn't even wait for them to get out of the car. He ran out the door, and he said, I just want to talk to you. And my mom saw him, and she started screaming, get him away from my children. Roll up the windows, get him away from my children. Because my mom knew my dad had tried to run us into a gas station before to kill us all. He always told us we belonged to him. When he died, we were dying. She knew he was telling the truth. So they drove off, and then my dad drove off, and my brother said, I gotta kill him. I gotta find him and kill him. And I said, you can't. Mama would be so angry with you. Don't do that. Mama will be back in a little bit. Mama never came back.
No.
Oh, you're good. Thanks so much.
No. Bruh, somebody really called the police. That's crazy. No.
Oh, you're good.
I didn't hear the, if y'all go, well, you can probably rewind it to see what town she said she was in Georgia. And off that highway, you could probably find this actual Murderous.
Thanks so much.
This is my story, so please listen. My brother, my cousin's girlfriend, and I were all in the apartment waiting for my mom to get back. My mom had left because, you know, this is a brand new apartment and there was no TV. And when she came there the first time, I said, Mom, I like the apartment, it's nice, but I can't live here without a TV. And she started laughing and she said, I know. And she said, Mr. Rudy is taking me to get a TV now. Mind you, this is the first time, again, that I've physically seen Mr. Rudy in person. And she said, tell him what you said to me last night. And I said, Mama, that was a conversation between us. And she said, no, go ahead and tell him. I said, well, I told my mama that if you guys started dating and you treated her well, and maybe one day if y'all got married, I could possibly call you like my stepdad. And Mama, she was just laughing. She was so happy in that moment. And Mr. Rudy was laughing too, and he said something like, well, we'll see what happens. And so they left to go get the TV. I've already described Daddy coming. Daddy ran out to the house, trying to run out to the car. My mama screamed, get him away from my children. Just go, go, go. So Daddy left, and he came back. We thought he was gone. He actually went to park his car somewhere else. He came back, and he told us if when the car came, if my brother and I went outside or said anything to alert my mom that he would kill her. Of course, we didn't do that because we knew my daddy. And if I'm retelling the story, I'm sorry. So anyway, he finally did leave. He took Mr. Rudy's camera and he finally did leave. And we're sitting there waiting for my mom to come back. And I just felt this really cold feeling. And I said to my brother, Mom is dead. And my brother got really angry. He's like, stop saying that shit. Stop saying that shit. And he started punching holes in walls and stuff. And I just felt this disconnect. And I knew that my life was not going to be my life anymore. So unfortunately, at 6:21 on September 16th, my dad murdered my mom, murdered Mr. Rudy, and committed suicide. This is my story, so please listen. So initially, my mom drove away from the house. Well, Mr. Rudy was driving. She led him away from the house because she knew that my dad was gonna unalive her and that he would unalive my brother and I as well if we were there. Because, again, this was my dad and this is what we knew about him. They left and apparently she was coming back to the house to make sure that her babies were okay. And my dad saw them on the Riverdale Road exit in Atlanta. And there's an embankment. If you know Riverdale Road, you know what I'm talking about. And he apparently crossed lanes of traffic and slammed them up against the embankment. My dad got out of his car. He made it to where they could not get out on either side. My mom was on the passenger side. They couldn't get out. My dad broke into the windshield of the car. He killed or he unalived Mr. Rudy first, so severely that he almost decapitated him. And my mom, when my dad was raining down his terror on Mr. Rudy, was able to climb out of the car and was running down the highway begging for help, and no one would help her. And I can't say that I blame them. This was 1988. There weren't cell phones out and, you know, people able to call 911 from their cars. And you see this lady running down the highway with mental illness. People are not just going to stop and help. And then my dad realized that my mom was getting away and he chased her. And knowing my mom, she probably stopped and tried to reason with him and apologize. But by that point, it was beyond anything that could have been saved. So my dad plunged a piece of metal in my mom's chest 22 times. And then he got up and he plunged that same piece of metal in his chest. But he was so hopped up on adrenaline that he didn't unalive immediately. He got back in his Cadillac and he drove about a mile down the road, and then he slumped over and he still didn't die. He was not dead yet. Neither was my mom. She still had words that she needed my brother and I to hear before she died. This is my story. So, laying there dying on the side of the road, my mom's last words were, "Keep him away from my children. Please protect my children." How do I know that? Because the ambulance driver told us that she would not let go of life until they promised her they were going to make sure that my brother and I were safe. Riverdale Road brings me so much pain, and it's not like the name of the road is gonna change, but that is literally where the life of my mother, you know, poured out of her body at the hands of my father. So when I say that I got the chance to unalive him in my dream, I got the chance to win. The night that he murdered my mom, when I was at my friend's house, my mom's sister and other family members had come to take my brother and I to bring us to, South Georgia. I had a nightmare, my very first nightmare of my dad killing me. And I was in this really dark room, and my dad was there, and his eyes were glowing red. And he said, "Who got the last laugh, you little bitch?" And he started chasing me. And from that point until now, I've had dreams of this man unaliving me. And so when I unalived him the other night, something shifted. Something shifted in my state of peace. Something shifted in my ability to be strong. Something shifted, and people who've not suffered a traumatic past won't understand. But I proudly unalived him. And this little bitch finally got the last laugh. This is my story, so please listen. Hey y'all. This video is specifically, oh Lord, I should have put some olive oil on my face, for parents who have children that are going through a healing journey right now. You need to understand that sometimes in order for your babies to heal, you will be the villain in the story. It's not that they don't love you. It's not that they don't appreciate everything that you've done for them. It's just that in order for them to become the hero in their story, sometimes you will have to be the villain in the story. And I'm not saying that your actions were intentional, because God knows my actions were never intentional. I never wanted my babies to be hurt. But my inaction or lack thereof on some occasions are the reason why my babies have stories to tell. Am I blaming myself? No. Am I accepting responsibility? Yes. There's a huge difference in those two things. So step outside of trying to justify what happened or trying to apologize profusely, because I promise you, a lot of times the apology ain't really what they need. They just need you to understand that they are hurting. They need to know that you are in their corner. They need to know that even though there may have been a time when you were not able to defend them, you are now in a space where what happened to them mattered, and it's important to you, and you want to walk in this fight with them. Sometimes you're going to be the villain in order for them to be the superhero. There's just no way around that.
Well, everyday people, I just want to say one thing. She had about 5 minutes of makeup. That was her makeup tutorial that did not consider African face paint, where you got to put a drop here, blend it in, use a whole nother piece, grab some other color, flap it on your face, swing it around. No eyelashes, no mustache puller, just some Donna Karan lipstick, a little bit of white diamond perfume, and a scrunchie to hold the bun up. And she a fine, sexy mama. One day y'all gonna get back to that, but until then, we gonna deal with it, because we ain't got no choice, right? We ain't got no choice. But thank you everybody for pulling up to this live. That was a crazy story. It is real. She said it's real. She said this is a true story. But the part about her unaliving her father in a dream, now I get it, and I understand that was haunting her for that long. And she, after 37 years, she finally let go of that pain. She finally let go of that pain. And man, I bet that was a good weight lifted off her back. Cause I think it would be. I've never had an abusive parent, but now if you take the amount of whoopings I got for the stuff that I did every day, you would think my mama was abusive. But my mama's whoopings didn't hurt. And my dad's whoopings, they didn't hurt. They just came in the middle of the night when you wasn't thinking about it. They just came in the middle of the night and he'll wake you up out of your sleep. And it didn't even hurt. It was just a shock and a what's going on factor. And now I'm crying. I'm like, oh, he about to kill me. But then I remember his whoopings don't hurt. So then you just got to clean up or whatever. And you be like, damn, all I did was not do the dishes. It's 3 in the morning. What are we doing? He did not play, okay? But yeah, man, sad story. Again, so the first story was about abuse, third story about abuse, second story, I guess that was for comic relief because I don't know if we could have took three of these at one time. That would have been, I deserved. Man, one time I set the house on fire. One time I was even playing with the fire. You know how your sister got oil sheen and you just strike a lighter to it and you just spray the oil sheen. I got a whooping for that. Man, one time I played a joke on my mama and them and I let all the air out the tires. Got a whooping for that. I was like, it's a joke, it's a joke. But mind you, we didn't have pumps back. Like, it wasn't no way to air up a tire. You had to, like, literally take all 4 tires off, take them to the damn car place, and get them aired up. Like, we didn't have, like, random air compressors like we do now. Yeah, I was one of them ones. I was one of them ones. I mean, I could go on for days of the stories I did. Man, one time I lined up golf balls out on the side of my dad's bed, and cause I watched Home Alone, and I was like, I don't remember why I did it. I think I was just wanting to play a joke, and my daddy down there broke his damn neck. I got a whooping for that. That's a true story. I got a lot of whoopings. Shit. I got a lot of whoopings. But my parents weren't abusers. I was just bad. And not even that they was mad. They wasn't even mad. Like I told you, they whoopings didn't hurt. And they whoopings, man, I remember I got suspended for 5 days from school from popping a girl's bra. Like I don't know I don't even think she did anything to me. I just think I just said, foul. 5-day suspension. I was like, bro, I got a whooping for that. You know, I don't know what the fuck I was doing. But I did know popping bras hurt. But I get my sisters all the time. We be fighting off. Foul. He just keep trying to do that. I remember I got in a fight with my sister. She hit me in the face with my football helmet. I had a black eye on my 12th birthday. I had a nice haircut and a big black eye. I got a whooping for that. Again, because I was throwing golf balls at her door. And my mama told me to stop, and my sister came in there and beat me up. And then I got a whooping for it. So I got a whooping, a black eye, and still had to go to school. On my birthday. Yeah. Yep, I used to be in trouble, bro. Trouble. One time, my mama came to my cousin's house, brought me some money, and we was stealing from the store, but my mama brought me some money. Now, I could have bought what I wanted, but I just decided to steal anyway. and I got caught. I got a whooping for that. I got a whooping for just about everything. Yeah. But my parents weren't abusers. I was just bad. Um, Shit. I can't tell you what else I got a whooping for. Man, that's just so many things. Yeah. But anyway, did we find this story? Did anybody find this story? If y'all found this story, like send it to me. Cause it sounds like a sad situation. These kids was traumatized, and you know what? The trauma that she probably suffered, she probably never got healing for, and then she took it out on her kids. That's why she said her kids have their own story to tell because she had to be the villain in their story to make them heroes. And I'm pretty sure her daughter's on the phone. Virgos are horrible criminals and liars. I've never told a lie in my life. So, the birch is covered. I'm just waiting on my designs. When I get my designs, all y'all gonna be walking around here with unbig your back t-shirts, okay? I promise you, we getting it done. I'm getting the designs done, and then the shirts. I'll be posting my link. I'll post my link on the channel, and you can visit the store, and you can purchase the shirts. They not gonna be expensive, but you ain't gonna get no shirt like this. You just gonna get you with some gilding shirts. I don't even know. They gonna get one of them gildings, but they're gonna be affordable. All right. So everyday people, man, thank y'all for tuning in. We got some good lit videos for y'all tomorrow, and yeah, we're gonna keep it lit, man. I had to bring 3 videos so I can stretch this out for over an hour because we like to keep it lit. I don't want to have no short lives, mind you. At Twitch, I'm trying to get monetized on Twitch, Facebook, everything. So I got to be consistent, and I got to keep the long lives. I can't do short lives. I got to keep y'all here for as long as possible. I'm going to get a Reading Rainbow shirt. We're going to do that. Butterfly in the sky. We're going to have them all. Yeah. Keep it lit, big dog. We're going to have one of them shirts. All that. Gonna have the story times. I got another thing about the story times with the shirts for the story times. I got something for that. So, all right, man. Everyday people, man. Make sure y'all tune in tomorrow for the videos in the morning and the videos at nighttime. I'm going live again. And thank you all for joining. And 7 hour. I do got a 7-hour video. Y'all want to do that again? Y'all want to do that again? that was hilarious. Y'all was like, I'm never watching Everyday PJ again. Anyway, everyday people, man, like, comment, and subscribe.